Do I want a bunch of men that are turned off by ambitious women in my audience? Not necessarily. But do I also realize that I'm isolating probably the bigger chunk of my demographic? Yeah, probably.
Welcome back to On the Horizon. This is MelRose Michaels. I am your host, and I'm here to share what's worked for me in building my adult creator business to try to make building yours just a little bit easier. Let's get into today's episode.
Have you ever wondered what could happen if you stepped out of your comfort zone and tried something completely new? Well, that's exactly what I'm currently doing in my business right now as an adult creator. And today I'm going to share an experiment with you that is just getting started. And while I don't have results yet, I'm going to bring you along for the journey. So, we're going to talk about strategy, a little bit of mindset, and how to stay ahead in our ever changing industry. So, if you're ready to shake things up and hear about this experiment I'm currently running in my own business, stick around. Now, I know I talk quite often about testing things in your business. And when a lot of you guys DM me, whether that's, inside CEO Society in our close community, or you DM me on social, a lot of the questions I get from our community and just my peers can be answered with the response, you should try it and test it. And I'm sorry if that gets old hearing it, but the real way to know anything, at least from where I'm standing and in, the 13 years I've done this now, oh my God, I just missed my anniversary. I didn't realize it's October 8th. October 10th is my cam-iversary for my first time in the industry, my first day camming. Anyways, I'm 13 years in now. It's official. But if you ask me these questions, the answer is always going to be test it, track it, and see. Because the reality is, in this landscape, everything will work differently for everybody. And that's not an answer anyone wants to hear, because we all want this silver bullet, this sure path, this step-by-step approach to growing our business. But that's just not how business really works, at least not oftentimes and not for every person. So I want to talk about what I'm testing in my own business, because maybe parts of it will be applicable and you can take it in, use it in your own and get some results. But what I'm currently doing is it's this whole journey, and I'm only starting it, like I said. So I'm going to give you kind of what this experience has been like up till now. I am working with a company that does paid marketing, and this is not an agency, so I don't want anyone to think that or that to get misconstrued. This is basically a traffic marketing company who specializes in OnlyFans traffic. So, first, I want to give some backstory to how I found this company. And also, I'm not going to say this company's name. And the reason I'm not going to say it is because I don't know how the test turns out yet. So, I don't want everyone, running and trying to work with this person company just because I'm doing it. This is purely a test, and it could go extremely poorly. But I'm going to share the journey as it's been so far. So, I was on my phone. And this is backstory, right? So I was on my phone and I got a text message from a friend, and she sent me a screenshot of this like video that was on Instagram. And it was this OF traffic company that does paid marketing. So paid marketing runs ads for OnlyFans pages. And she sent me a picture of this ad because this friend actually works for an adult company, and she can't run Facebook ads for her adult company. It's an adult toy company. So she's like, man, it's so hard to run ads because they consider, sex toys as this explicit, ridiculous thing. And you have to find all these loopholes just to get the ad to work. How is this company running ads for OnlyFans traffic as their business if I can't even run paid ads for my sex toy company that she works for? And I saw that text and I was like, while it's unfortunate you can't run ads, and I sympathize because I couldn't run paid ads when I have, the Networthy clothing company for adult, what really stood out to me is like this company that says that they can run OF traffic through paid marketing campaigns has a paid ad, which is what she sent me in the screenshot. So just that alone was a proof of concept for me, because if they say they can run paid ads and I am seeing a paid ad or a screenshot of one anyway, that means that they can actually do what they're saying. So this is what first initially piqued my interest about this company. And then, of course, as you do, as someone who's challenged with traffic in this space, which we all are, and that's why this space is so full, you go down the rabbit hole, right? So you research the company, you go to all the Instagrams attached to the brand, you look for, all the pictures and the screenshots of testimonials and huge revenue numbers and whatever. So I go through everything I can find online for this company. And while I never trust screenshots because those can always be faked, there were some things that felt encouraging to me. Some things that stood out that I was like, this might be worthwhile just to pursue. So I reached out to the company via Instagram. And of course, I got hit with a auto reply with a link to sign up for a call. So if you're familiar with, most digital businesses are high ticket high ticket selling selling companies, high ticket marketing campaigns. Usually when you reach out, if something's going to be expensive, the first thing they want to do is get you on a call. They don't want to tell you how much it costs. They don't want to tell you the process. They just want to get you on a call. So I set up this call with this company and I went through their process. The first thing that happened is I get on this call and they ask me a little bit about myself, what I do, how I've done things, etc. And then they start very clearly going through their scripts with me. So the salesperson on this call, this is my first touch point with them. They obviously have their scripts, so they're saying whatever they're reading off the screen. And I'm, going through the process, agreeing with them, explaining things to them, what have you. And essentially, that first call is this exploratory call where they're trying to qualify me and I'm trying to qualify them. So they're asking about my current revenue, they're asking about some of my numbers on my page. I'm asking them what their process looks like, how they are able to run paid ads, because this is a mystery that is very difficult to solve in our space. But I do know from having a lot of top, 0.01% friends, the way they get 0.01 is they find a way to run ads. So I'm talking to this company, we get through this exploratory call, and he sets up another call. So now I'm going to be talking to some higher person about the rest of their process. And what I'm essentially going through, for those who understand, business and funnels, is I'm going through their sales funnel, right? I responded to their ad, I set up the first call, now I'm on the second follow-up call, and I'm going through their sales funnel. So on the second call, I get on, and this one's more detailed. So this person has very clearly reviewed my OF page. They've reviewed all of my social media profiles. They've done a little bit of a deep dive, and they have some understanding of me, of my brand, and also they have the information from the first call that's been passed along about my actual revenue numbers, my stats, my fan counts, etc. So now in the secondary call, they start to tell me a little bit about how this process is going to work, or how this process works with them in terms of paid marketing. And this is kind of what it looks like. So essentially, you start with them, with the company, you pay a fee, a flat fee per month, and also a revenue share off of your page. So off of whatever I make off of this specific traffic that they drive, they are going to get a percentage of the earnings off of that traffic, which is very common and actually very fair in the industry. And the fee is relatively small compared to what I could stand to gain off the traffic that they claim they can drive. So we discuss, the fees, but then they start to discuss this process. And basically, the overall gist of this process is that they are going to help me with social media to first achieve organic, omnipresent growth. So organic growth, obviously we all know what organic growth is on social, right? You want to go viral, you want to get a bunch of views and therefore a bunch of followers, and that is, the goal that we all have when doing social media. Now, while this is, their goal, the reason that they have this initial goal is to get you something to go viral, because that's proven, essentially it's a test that that viral content will also perform really well as a paid ad. So this process of creating a ton of social media content is really to find the winners in that social media content to then throw an ad budget behind and run paid ads with. Now, this content strategy, there's also this other puzzle piece to it. It's not just about making a bunch of social media content and trying to get something to go viral, but there's also this thing called, what I mentioned, being omnipresent. that goes along with it. And being omnipresent means you are across all the platforms very consistently. What most of us as creators can do well is maintain one or two socials fairly consistently, but maintaining, 8 to 10 socials very consistently is very difficult. We're talking posts, we're talking stories, we're talking reels, we're talking short form, we're talking comment replies, we're talking all the things, right? So what this company does is not only do they help you come up with the content that you're going to create or recreate that is trendy or likely to go viral, but they're going to also help post for you across all of these socials so that you're not trying to post yourself. So they do take that lifting kind of off of your shoulders as a creator. Now, aside from the organic trying to go viral and the omnipresence of it, the other component here is that they're going to help you deep dive and really isolate the brand. So I would say, and most of you listening would say, that if you looked at my social media, you you would get a really good grasp for my brand, right? If you look at my Melrose Michaels brand, this is the brand I'm specifically referring to, you're going to see that just from the Instagram pictures alone, right? I clearly like cars. I'm a very big car enthusiast. I travel frequently now because I go to these conferences for adult. I spend time with friends. Like, you're gonna pull some of these things that stand out on my personal Melrose Michaels socials. And then if you read my bio, let's say on Melrose Michaels Instagram, for example, my bio says, "Fuck being a lady, I'm gonna be a legend." Then it says model, gamer, YouTuber, podcaster, cyberbabe. It has a mention of SWCEO and Shop Networthy, my other businesses. And then it says Forbes, Paper Magazine, and Days. Those are press publications I've been published in. And then it has my link to an email capture, which then sends a free trial to my OF for anyone who signs up with their email. Looking at this, the insight that you have, and this is what this company kind of pointed out, because they audited all my socials on this second call. So this guy is talking to me and he's like, when I look at your Melrose Michaels brand, when I look at your social, there's a couple things that stand out. Just by your bio, where you say, "Fuck being a lady, I'm going to be a legend," you give off a lot of ambition. You are a very ambitious person. It's very clear. You also list other businesses in your bio. You have at least two other businesses that are linked, which, shows a lot of drive and ambition. And his take on this, which I agree with, and I mean, it's interesting and also sad. He's like, most men who are following your page are not going to love a woman with ambition. A lot of men that follow women online or want to interact with women online, they're looking for someone that really they can make a difference for, that they can feel needed by, that they can feel that like companionship dynamic, because these are, people who are lonely at night, they want to get off, they want to have companionship. Like, this is your target demographic, which I believe that all does check out. Also, at the same time, I do also believe that you should attract the audience that you actually want to build. Do I want a bunch of men that are turned off by ambitious women in my audience? Not necessarily. But do I also realize that I'm isolating probably the bigger chunk of my demographic by coming off super, super ambitious? Yeah, probably. And also, his point was like, do you really think that these followers on your page that try to convert to your OF, do you think that they feel they should give you money or pay for things when they can see that you're really ambitious, that you have multiple businesses, that you have a nice car, or that you travel a lot, or any of the other things that you're signaling with the posts that you make on your page? And I thought this was really interesting because it's so important to consider the user or the fan's experience. And I try to be really cognizant of that. But I definitely treat my Instagram personally as like, it's just my place, like it's for me to share my life, kind of like where I'm traveling, the things I'm doing, post my story, like, and also to be authentic in myself. And I am ambitious and I am proud of my achievements and I do run multiple businesses. So like, all of these things are sincerely authentic to me. And while all of that is good and true, the reality is it doesn't convert well. And so I always refer back to the saying of like, why make your business harder than it is? Business is just fucking hard anyway. Like, it's just hard enough as is. So when I'm realizing all of this and I'm kind of seeing what I'm signaling and what my fan or user experience is when they come across my Instagram, when they come across my Twitter or my TikTok or whatever, they're seeing that I don't need them, that I have enough money in their eyes, because obviously no one sees what you spend or what your responsibilities or your cost is. They only see, the pretty picture. So they're assuming I don't need it. They're assuming I'm, set. They're assuming I'm really ambitious. I have multiple businesses. Like, there's no need to convert for them. So this was like a really eye-opening part of that second call with this company for me, because I was realizing, like, you know, my brand as it is and who I am as a creator, I always will describe myself as I'm the girl next door. Like, I live in the country. I don't live a super glamorous life. I'm building a house. I work all the time. Like, I do, car things on the weekends with my car club and group of friends. But like, while that's true, I also don't, I'm not building my brand around that. Like, Girl Next Door is my brand, but I'm not coming off as the girl next door on my Instagram. So this was really, like I said, a wake up call for me. And then so I get to talking with this company a little more, and they start talking about your niches, or my niche. And they're like, well, what do you consider your niche? I'm like, well, I would say I'm the girl next door creator. And they're like, okay, well, for our process, while we're going through this process with you, what we really want to do is for you to select 5 niches. And out of those 5 niches, we're going to test content for all 5.
If you're enjoying this podcast episode so far, please take one moment to share it with another one of your adult content creator friends, because you know what the rule is here. We do not gatekeep, and we want to make as many adult creators' businesses as easy as possible. And you sharing this episode with them might do exactly that. Thanks so much in advance.
So basically, the plan there is like, okay, I'm going to pick these 5 niches. I'm going to experiment, AKA test, right? Test and post and see what lands or what sticks with my audience in these specific niches. So the initial niches I picked because they provided me actually with a list. And also, I mean, you can go into GPTs, our AI, by the way, and ask for a bunch of niches for safe for work, for not safe for work. It can help you come up with some. But the niches that I initially chose for my first 5 were, and don't laugh at me, were cars, because cars are very natural to me. Like I said, I'm an enthusiast. Country life, because I literally live in the middle of nowhere. I think people sometimes don't realize it, but I've got like 2 streetlights in my town. I'm 2 hours from the nearest Starbucks. I really live in the middle of nowhere. I also chose story time as a niche because I think I tend to come off very unrelatable and I don't want to be unrelatable. So I thought story times would give me an opportunity to really connect with the audience and with followers. And then the other niche I chose was viral text. That was one of the ones they had listed. The reason I chose this one initially was like, I have really silly text messages with some of my best friends that I think really make for good like screenshots or good posts. And also I find like viral text is a very relatable niche. And then the last one I chose was chess because I don't know if you guys know this, and probably not. I am a little bit of a nerd, but I love chess. So I play chess pretty much every week, and it's something that just I enjoy. So out of the niches that were listed, that they provided me with this list, I chose cars, country life, story time, viral text, and chess. Now, it was time for me to get on my third phone call with this company. Now, in this third phone call, it was kind of the beginning of my social media game plan with them, and they wanted to talk about my niches. So again, I had chosen cars, I had chosen country life, storytime, viral text, and chess. And the first thing that this person, she asked me on this call, she's like the social media specialist for this part of the process with them. She said that what of these niches, she's like, I'm a little concerned for your niches. The reason I say that is you need to be able to make content very easily, very frequently for social, because this is the top of your sales funnel. So this is very, very important. And you need to be able to make it sustainably. And she's like, so out of these 5 things, cars, country life, story time, viral text, chess, what of those things are actually sustainable for you? Do you naturally do every day? Is really a part of your everyday life? It would be easy to create content around it. You could do it for the next 10 years. Do any of those things make sense to you? And I was like, well, I love cars. I'm involved with cars constantly. I go to car rallies. I race cars and all of that. But then I was like, I actually just sold my 2 sports cars because I had to pay my taxes as a creator. So I just sold off the 2 sporty vehicles I have. I don't have anything fancy or fun right now. So I was like, cars might actually be a rather difficult niche to create content in, in this moment. And then we talked about country life. She's like, country life, I think, is a great fit because you live in the country, you have the scenery, at your fingertips. And she's like, but what else is around you? And I was like, well, I don't have any farm animals now, but my neighbors all have farm animals and I see them almost every day. I go and I feed the baby cows, I go for a walk every morning. I'm in nature naturally a lot. And I live in the country and these things are available to me. I'm building, my dream house. It's like a country designed house, a modern country house. And she's like, okay, so country life makes sense. And I was like, okay, yeah, I would agree. Like, that's very sustainable. That's at my fingertips. It is my daily life. It's very easy to make content in that niche. And then she's like, okay, well, what about story time? I'm like, I think story time is totally doable. I just might need to really do some digging on like stories. Because the thing about stories is everyone has amazing stories, but you don't know what you have because everything to you seems so natural and so obvious, because it was your life or you experienced it. So you don't think that to someone else this is going to be really fascinating or interesting. So I think with a little bit of prompting and like maybe playing in GPTs, I can ask GPTs like ask me clarifying questions to dig up old memories of funny stories that have happened to me and see what kind of questions it gives me, and maybe that'll jog some cool memories to make storytime content around. Now the next one was viral text. And she's like, why did you choose viral text? And I was like, now that we're looking at it through this lens, this niche does not make sense for me whatsoever. I do have really funny texts with my friends, but I have like three friends, and we don't text constantly, incessantly, all that often. And also, like, I work nonstop. I'm in my office, majority of my day behind a computer. So the reality of viral text is probably not going to be wildly sustainable for me as a niche. And then she said the last one, and what about chess? And I was like, well, I play chess once a week. It's something I do as a hobby. Like, I really enjoy it, but it's not something like I'm learning strategy around or that I'm reading about or that I have a wealth of knowledge on. And she's like, well, that is not going to be a good niche because you're not doing it naturally every day. It's not something you have an expertise in. It's not something you can talk at length about. So chess is probably not a good niche for you. So this call was initially what sends me back to the drawing board about my niches. So after coming off of this call, I had to do some soul searching and some thinking about niches. And then I came up with my 5 niches that I would move forward with ultimately. So the 5 niches I ended up choosing were country life because, again, I have the scenery, the animals nearby. I'm building a country dream home and I live here in my daily life. The second niche I ended up deciding to create content in is going to be fitness because I have personal training 3 times a week. That's something I'm actively doing. I have to show up for it. And I have a personal, like a home gym, not a nice one, but I have a home gym so I could film pretty easily there, pretty consistently. The third niche was gaming because I do game. I'm not streaming on Twitch or like streaming in general, but I do game for fun and I really enjoy Fortnite. And with, an hour or two a week of doing something I enjoy, which is very sustainable, I can create content in that niche. And then the fourth one was cars. And I brought myself back to cars because I gave this some thought. And aside from going to the rallies, which I do pretty frequently, and aside from the fact that I don't own any of the cars I did a few months ago, I actually live really close to a body shop where one of our, really close friends works and owns. And so there's tons of amazing cars in this body shop all the time. This friend has no issues with me going there after hours and making, short form content or whatever. So cars actually would be really sustainable for me. I just hadn't considered that I had this level of access to someone with cars. So now that I, sorted that out in my brain, it actually did make sense. And then the last one is again story time because I feel like it's going to help me connect with the audience really well, and I just need to kind of think up those stories and keep it top of mind that the things that happen to me in my daily life could make probably some really great story times. It's just not something I look for right now because it's not something I'm actively doing. So I ended up with the niches country life, fitness, gaming, cars, and story time. So now that I've sorted my niches with this company and them advising me, the next step in what we're doing is to start creating content in these niches. So what I've ultimately decided was that I didn't want to use my Melrose Michaels socials that I have now and my Melrose Michaels brand because one, they're all shadow banned. So I just don't see a point in running this test that I'm paying money to do and paying this company to help me with across those socials. And also, I thought it would be a more interesting test to give you guys once I have results from it off of brand new social media accounts. Because if we can make it work, or if this company can help me make it work on brand new socials, I don't see why you guys listening and following along and, being along for this journey can't also do the same thing. Because like I don't want there to be a an argument of like, well, I only have 3,000 followers, or I only have 500 followers. Like, I wanted to do this off of brand new fresh socials. So I went online and I created all new social accounts. So I have two new Instagrams, and I'll explain that in a second. I have a new Twitter, I have a new Reddit, I have a new TikTok. So aside from creating all new socials, and they're under a brand name that has Melrose in it, but is under the umbrella of one of my niches. And also, so if you see some new Melrose accounts popping up, just don't report them yet. Just let me know. Don't just go reporting my new socials, please, please and thank you. But now that we have the new socials up, starting from zero, I'm going to start creating content in my niches. And so, what this company is going to help me do at this stage is they are going to send me trending sounds and trending content to recreate that is already in my niche. So, if my niche is country, it might be me on my morning walk, which I walk every morning, 3 miles. So, me on my morning walk, sharing a story time, for example. Boom, that hits two of my niches in one post. Maybe they send me a fitness reel that performed really, really well, got millions of views for me to recreate with this new song that's going to be trending or just started trending. So then I'll recreate that. So they're going to help me like streamline and feed me content to make or recreate that's in these five niches. And then we're going to post it, and the company will do the posting of it, except for TikTok, because TikTok has a geo and location thing. So I will post it to TikTok. They will post it everywhere else. And that's going to be the way this cascade works on social media while I'm working with them. So I'll make the original content on TikTok, and then I'll send it to them, and they'll post and cross post it everywhere. So now that we have these new socials, fresh socials, and now that I'm creating this new content that they are helping to curate for me in my niches, and now that it's getting published across all of these platforms that it's omnipresent, now it's a matter of repeating this process until something lands and goes viral. So once something lands and goes viral, we know that that is one, a winning niche for me, that there's people in that niche that like my look, like my vibe, like my personality, and this content can perform well again because it's performed well once. So once I start posting and we see what's landing and what's performing well, that will likely narrow down my niches from these five niches to something closer to maybe two or three. And then we're going to mix kind of those two or three niches and move onwards from what I understand. So, like, again, if I did, I have a country niche, fitness, gaming, cars, story time. But say I do a walk in the morning through the country and I'm sharing a story time, and that one lands really well. Okay, we know story time, country life, solid niches. We can narrow it to those two plus maybe one more. So that's kind of going to be the process at this stage is getting the content published everywhere and seeing what lands. And we're going to do this organically, just creating tons of content and posting it until we get something to go viral. The next stage of this process, so this is, and I'm just telling you transparently, that's where I'm at right now. I'm waiting for them to send me the kind of content to recreate, and then I'm going to recreate it, give it to them to cross post everywhere. I'll post it to TikTok, and then we'll start to see what lands. This is exactly the phase at which I'm living in right now in this moment. Beyond that, I haven't done anything, but I'm going to continue on talking and sharing what I've been told and informed the rest of this process is going to look like. So once we have a piece of content that's gone viral, the next phase is going to be putting paid ads behind that content. So remember earlier when I said I made all new social media accounts, I made two Instagrams, Twitter, a TikTok, and I forgot what else, a Reddit. So the reason for two Instagrams is that you want a completely safe for work, like kids can follow this Instagram, safe for work. And you want a spicier Instagram. So with these two Instagrams, the spicier Instagram, I'm assuming, is the one that's going to have a link to my OF. And there's something notable about that I want to mention, circle back to. And then the safe for work Instagram is the one that they're going to get approved to run ads on. And that's why it needs to be squeaky clean, safe for work. So once you get the content to go viral that's landing, it'll be on the safe for work Instagram and it'll get ads pushed behind it. And then you funnel from your safe for work Instagram to your spicier Instagram. And when they get to the spicier Instagram, there's going to be a link in the bio that they click on that shows them, and this is an important differentiator, that shows them a video landing page with only one link on it. So the video landing page, you may have seen like a Tap My Bio, I know is capable of this, where it plays a video as soon as you open it in the background, and then you can have, your links floating over the video or whatever. It's really important to have a video because that is part of what helps the conversion, is having a video in your landing page, either a video that's performed really well and gone viral, or a video that's like you talking and kind of selling them to click the link. So we haven't gotten to the stage yet where I've made my video landing for my spicy Instagram. But when I do, I'll share the details on that and like what's in it and how I approached it or was instructed to approach it. And then also the fact that there's only one thing linked on that spicy Instagram in that page or in that link in bio landing page. And the reason is you want to reduce as much time wasting and potential clicking and potential barriers to getting a fan to convert from your Instagram or from your profile, social media profile, to the end point, which for me is OnlyFans because that's my biggest platform. So you only want the one link listed on your spicy Instagram because you want that conversion to be as seamless as humanly possible. You want them to have no chance at getting lost, no chance at exploring other things. You want them to go to the endpoint that you have in mind. So I'll have that spicy Instagram set up with that link in bio that plays a video in the background or is a video of me talking. I'm not sure which yet, depending on what they tell me. And then I'll have my OnlyFans link right there for the fans to click. And then again, the Safe for Work Instagram is going to be where we run ads. That's why it's got to be squeaky clean. And that's where we use that organically viral content to push an ad budget behind and run ads. Now, this is how this process is set up and kind of like designed to work. Again, I'm just starting out and I'm going through this process. I'm very excited about it. Also, I love just this idea of getting to be a guinea pig in it. There's a lot of room where they're like, this is what we suggest, but obviously if you want to do something different, you can. Whereas like I'm just like, no, you guys should have all the data on what works for ads. You guys should have all the data on the success of pages because you get a rev share on a percentage basis. So like you guys should know, in my opinion, what works best, even compared to me, 13 years in the industry. So I am just going through this process as if I know nothing and I'm here to learn and I want to do as well as I humanly can under the instruction I'm being given. And that's kind of what I'm testing, right now in my business. Now, what I'll say is that paid marketing and paid advertising is so powerful because you get to reach such a big audience, right? So if we get to the point where I can get content to land and go viral in my niche and we put some paid marketing behind it, that is really where the test will start to show some results and I'll be able to see like, is this worth pursuing? Is this worth continuing? I'll say that right now, my plan for this, test is I'm going to give it 90 days just because it might take me a while to get something to land and go viral. Also, I'm freaking swamped right now. It's also holiday season. So, like, between all my other businesses, between everything that needs my attention from all the content and all the corners of my world, like, I'm just busy at the moment. So, I know that I'm giving them things back in return, or I'm taking a little bit longer to respond or to get them content. So I want to give myself some runway there as well. So for this test, I'm planning 90 days. The fee for working with this company, it's a flat fee each month, and then it's a percentage rev share on all the traffic that comes through the tracking link that we're using off of that spicy Instagram that we built. And I'm excited. Like, I'm excited to see not only just how the social media pages grow, if they grow quickly, if we avoid a shadow ban, what kind of fans we bring in. Also, I'm excited to like focus on these niches now that I'm really aware how fans might see me or what the fan perception or follower perception is. And I'm interested to see how that impacts my conversions. And then last, like, I'm just excited to see like if I can do it, like if revenue happens and if I really grow my page and to what extent I can grow my page. Because I will tell you, the proof of concept or like the evidence post testimonials, reviews, and things like that that I came across for them were like people taking their page from 10K a month to 50K a month or from 20K a month to 100K a month. Like there were massive jumps. And of course, seeing that, I am, all glossy eyed and enthusiastic, but I'm putting my money on the line and my time on the line, and I'm going to test it. And I will come back to you guys and I will share whatever insights I've found. Obviously, I've shared what I've learned up until now. And we'll see. We'll see how this test ultimately goes. So if you aren't already a member inside the CEO Society, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do join because I will be posting about this case study inside CEO Society. Inside our close community, it's free, by the way. It's just for adult creators. We have to approve every single person manually, one by one, that we let in. But inside CEO Society, we have a section for case studies where you can see, obviously, this case study continue to unfold. Eventually, if it works out and if I feel confident putting my reputation behind this company and this brand, I will reveal what the company and brand is so that you guys can reach out. So I'll be putting all of this information and documenting it further inside our case study tab inside CEO Society. So if you haven't already joined, highly recommend you go there so you can keep following this kind of journey unfold. And then also, I'll be talking about this in real time a little bit on the vlogs we put out every week. So we have these seducing success vlog videos that I put out just to show you guys what's happening inside SWCEO, what's happening inside my business, my life, give you guys access because, I feel like you guys are the reason these companies exist and you guys should know what's going on inside them. So you'll hear little bits about what's happening this week inside some of those seducing success vlogs that'll be coming out as well. But the core place to really be informed and keep tabs on this test specifically is in CEO Society. So I hope you consider joining. Now I'm going to start to wrap up this space. I do want to mention inside our latest GPTs tutorial, I show you guys how to use GPTs to let a fan down gently and decline romantic advances. This is something we've all faced, and GPTs has a really cool prompt for this. So if you want to head over to GPT's YouTube channel, all those tutorials, that one and many others are already published there for you. And also inside our classroom, inside CEO Society, you can see these same videos as well. In case you aren't aware of what GPTs is, it is SWCEO's first product, first real product anyway, our technology product. It's an NSFW AI chat tool, basically ChatGPT for adult content creators. And you can do almost anything with it. You can ask it for, I don't know, 15 not safe for work content ideas for OnlyFans, or to help you caption a PPV for a fetish clip you made, or you can ask it to craft you a viral tweet, or reply to a fan that you're having trouble, responding to, or write a video script. The possibilities are endless. That's really my point. And it's free for you guys. So even you can go and use it. It's important that we made sure there's a base level free version of this for all creators because I think all creators deserve access to this because what we do is freaking hard and we should make it easier. And when you get to GPTs.ai and you're on the website, make sure you go over to personalization and personalize your GPTs with your content niche, your favorite emojis, writing samples, all of that, so that you get the most out of it. Personalizing it is super important because that's really when it shines and becomes an extension of you as a creator. So head over to GPTs.ai. If you haven't tried it out already, give it a try. Let us know what you think. And also follow at GPTsAI on Twitter and Instagram and give us some feedback. We'd love to hear it. Now, if you already are using GPTs, like I mentioned, inside CEO Society, we also have a section for GPTs. This section is really cool because you'll see people's use cases, how they're using GPTs. They will share links to their own GPTs with you. So you can go into their GPT's chat box and see how they prompted it, how they got whatever result they got out of it. Like it's a really cool place to see how all creators are using this technology to just make their lives easier as adult creators. And also the revenue. Like there's people inside the GPT section of CEO Society talking about making $500 off of one thing GPT's told them to write. Like it's crazy. So if you're not in CEO Society for the 100th time, go be it. Go join. Now, if you're not a GPT's user and you just kind of want pre-made scripts or content calendars, you can always find those over on sexworkceo.com/shop. We have those there for you. There's even beyond content calendars and sexting scripts. There's like unlock sales scripts or overcoming sales objection scripts. Basically, all the things you need without even spending a dime. Some of them are there available to you for free as well. So check out our shop if you're more of a PDF downloadable girly. And last but not least, do you want to mention my other company, just so you guys are aware it exists? There is this other project that I work on. It's called SWR Data. It is my other company. And in case you're not familiar, we are on a mission to survey adult creators like you listening. And we just want to hear your feedback about the challenges you face in the adult industry and how the adult industry can better serve you. So, our goal is just collecting experiences, opinions, and observations about the current state of the adult industry. And then we use this data to advocate for necessary changes to make it a better place for us, the creators. Because the reality is, just a lot of people in power in our industry have never been a creator. So, SWR data is that lens. However, I cannot do this alone, and I genuinely need your help. So, for that reason, I'm inviting any creator who is willing to participate in our qualifying survey, which helps us understand your expertise as an adult creator. And then by taking this survey, you can then start participating in future paid surveys, with my ultimate aim being that the CEO squad has a totally additional income stream through taking these surveys alone. So, your experience as a creator is super valuable, and I do think that it is time we got paid for that. This is a collective effort, so if you're interested in participating in future paid surveys, let us know you're interested, and we will DM you the qualifying survey link so that you can join us in this mission. Lastly, but most importantly, actually, I want to emphasize that all of the information we put out here on SWCEO, we do so for free because we believe in this idea that the more financially successful creators are, the more resources we will have as a community to do things like lobby Congress, impact policy, organize, and more. So if you found value in the content you heard here today or the tweets that you've engaged with, please, please, please consider sharing it to make the journey easier for your own adult creator friends. Our only ask is that you retweet and share our stuff so that we can all collectively help as many creators as possible. So thank you in advance. This is going to bring us to the end of today's space. Huge thank you to everyone who joined in. Reminder, you can get this in written blog format over on our website, sexworkceo.com, in about a week or so. Thank you guys again for joining in, and I will see you all, CEO Squad, 1 week from today.
It would be absolutely incredible if you rated this podcast 5 stars and left a little review. We want to get this podcast to as many adult creators as possible, and you taking a second to leave a couple stars and a review really helps us do that. Thanks so much.